Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. This is book number 3 in her Farseer trilogy. Now, if you want to see my review of Assassin's Prentice, that is book number 1. You just type in my last name, Durfee, and Assassin's Apprentice, and the review will magically appear upon your YouTube screen. Or, if you want to watch my review of Royal Assassin, book number 2, do the exact same thing, and that video review will come up also. Now we're to book 3. Came out in 1997. We always discuss book cover illustration and graphic design first, because you know I'm a fan of illustrators and graphic designers. The first two books were illustrated by Michael Whelan. You know, he is one of the greatest. Actually, he's the greatest science fiction illustrator and fantasy illustrator of all time. Now, book 3, for whatever reason, they did not use Michael Whelan. They used Stephen Ewell, who also does a lot of illustrations. He did a lot of the George R.R. Martin. I think he did the original 3, Game of Thrones, Clash of Kings, Storm of Swords. So he's also a very accomplished illustrator. This looks really good. Love the colors, love the illustration on it. Wrap around. The trilogy looks super good all together on the shelf. Now, these are the originals. I mean, these are the first edition paperbacks I got. In fact, every one of my Robin Hobb books I have bought in paperback, and I've got them right here, so I might as well show you. There's a stack of them right there, and here is another stack of them right here. So I do own every Robin Hobb book in mass market paperback. And that's the way I've been collecting them. You know, most of my library, I've got hardcovers. You know, you can see tons and tons of books. But for whatever reason, I collected mass market with Robin Hobb, and I've stuck to that. So, let's get back to the review. We'll set these right here. Hopefully they won't fall. And then we'll move on. Let's see the map. There's a map in here. And we always look at the maps. This is a map of the realm of the Elderlings, and it is Alaska turned upside down. I always thought that was kind of cool that she used Alaska as her base and then just flopped it upside down. I know she probably did that because she, just like me, grew up in Alaska, Fairbanks, Alaska. I've never met Robin Hobb. My only tie to Robin Hobb is that we both grew up in Fairbanks, Alaska. She went to Lathrop High School. I lived in a house right across the street from Lathrop High School. But we never met. Anyway, Fitz Chivalry, our main character, who's went through many, many adventures in these first 2 novels, now is dead. He's dead. He's just dead. But then they bring him back to life. Burrick and Chade, 2 characters from the 2 guys that kind of watch over Fitz, they bring him back to life now. I won't get into any spoileries for these books, but he may or may not have died at the end of book 2. But anyway, I'm saying they bring him back to life. They're the only 2 people that know that he's back to life, Burrick and Chade, which leads to quite a few cool scenes throughout this book of people that think he's dead suddenly discovering he's back alive. And they bring him back to life, and he's still Fitz Chivalry, our main character, our bastard boy, our bastard boy who nobody know, I mean, it's one of those coming of age tales. And all 3 books are coming of age tales, but this is sort of the this is sort of the apex of the coming of age tale, where Chivalry really needs to figure out who he is, because now he's been brought back to life, but he thinks that he's part wolf, and he's got this skill, this magical skill where he can he's one with the wolves, and he fights that part of himself. Sometimes he embraces that part, sometimes he fights that part. But he's kind of back and forth with that really in the beginning of the book, and then throughout the book he really starts to just fight it. The brilliance of these novels, and especially when you read the entire Elderling saga, you realize that Robin Hobb, and this is very unique in literature, has taken this one character, Fitz, and is probably the most fleshed out character in fantasy literature, considering how many books she's written about him. And this is only book 3, but we're only touching on the surface now of the inner conflict within this character that just builds and builds and builds throughout all these other novels. And this is kind of where it really starts to show itself. This Fitz chivalry that's just tortured nonstop with so many things. And a lot of people don't like that about these books. And then most people that love these books love that about these books. Is just such a fascinating and detailed character sketch of one person's life as they go from a young boy in book 1 to an old man in the later books, and you just get to see every step of the way in such vivid detail and written so beautifully and with such insight. And this is where it really starts to do that. And the first 2 books were a really sort of fast-paced adventures. Now we kind of dial that back into what the realm of the Elderlings is really about, which is about this character study of Fitz chivalry. And this quest that he goes on to kill, that's why it's called Assassin's Quest, is he goes on a quest now to kill Regal, Prince Regal, the person that murdered him in book 2. And the quest goes off the rails, of course. He, things go bad. He meets people that think he's dead. They're shocked. Things like this. Then he ends up in the realm of the Elderlings, which is when we first get to meet the Elderlings. And that's the series, the entire set of books is called The Realm of the Elderlings. And so, there's that. And it's just such a deep, beautiful retelling of sort of a lonely man's coming of age. It seems hopeless at times. This is kind of like known as the downer of the series, like the book that's like the real downer, where just is a lot of moping, a lot of introspection, a lot of loneliness, a lot of woe's me. Things go wrong at every turn and every twist and turn. That's okay with me. I like that kind of thing. I think that in greatness cannot be achieved until, the worst things have happened. Until, it's like how can things get worse? How can we make it better? This is one of the themes of this story is, no matter how lonely and desperate you feel, even if the people around you think there's no reason for you to be lonely or desperate, for some reason you feel that way. That there's a way out. That the choices we make and the little things we do daily, that there's a way out. And that's kind of what I get out of this book. And when we get to see it step by step in a character in a fantasy novel, where it's supposed to be about, and this is about dragons and sword fighting and assassins and quests. It's about all of those great things. But it really, really slows down and takes its time to explain what's going on through this character's head and in this character's life, where you really start to root for him. And I think this is the book where a lot of people either get turned off from the series or get super turned on to it. And I I'm of the latter group. I was turned on from the get-go all the way through. And just when you read Robin Hobb's writing, it's reminiscent of what Tad Williams does, in that everything is just oozing with detail and beautiful description and thoughtful prose, and every sentence seems to matter. And that's the kind of writing I love. And not only has she done it for this trilogy, but she went ahead and did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 other books 17 books in this realm of the Elderlings, which focuses on this stuff, and it's just bloody brilliant. And I love it. I love everything about these. I haven't really got into the snitty gritties of the plot here. Just this is more on an overall touching on the theme, because I think that's what's important here. It's a quest, coming of age quest tale, told with beautiful prose and beautiful insights into the human condition. And we can learn a lot from Fitz and his struggles. We can be frustrated as hell with this character. Sometimes borderline you just don't like the guy. But yet you can learn. And then there are moments where you really like the guy. And then there are moments where he triumphs and really wins. And there are things that he says back and forth between him and Burrick that are just full of such great philosophies on life. And I just love this kind of storytelling. I just love it so much. It's like Tad Williams, Name of the Wind, Robin Hobb. These writers that are writing on a level above what the rest of us can write. It's just a joy to read their books every day. Now, I've done the first 3. Eventually on the channel, we will do the rest. But I am going to give Assassin's Quest, I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. And you can watch my reviews of these other books on the channel too. So anyway, hope you like these books as much as I do.